Gonna do a quick little video how to change the trim pump on a Mercury 154 stroke. The previous owner, I guess, always flushed the motor. He had it on a lift. He never rinsed the trim pump. So you can see trim pump's in pretty bad shape. Only has 182 hours. Already got this bolt loose. Pretty obvious how to get to that one. Make sure you trim the motor all the way up and then put it on the stand to hold it up. This is probably going to be stuck if they've never used it. So I did put a piece of wood here and had to bang it that way, spray some lube in here and on the back side. Then you have to bang it back, and then when I'm done, I'll work it a couple times so where it moves freely. And the bolt in the back's a little harder to get to. You probably get to it with some extensions and a regular Allen socket. But I got these long Allen sets from Harbor Freight. They work pretty good. Just put it back there. And you can see right there is the Allen head, and right there is a socket. Put it on there and work it loose. This motor is only 3 years old, so none of the bolts are really seized at all. This little wire's in the way. All the bolts are coming out pretty easy. And I already bled this also. Take that bolt out. Alright, now I got all the bolts loose. I'm going to see how hard it's going to be to take this wire out, or maybe I'll just cut it here and splice here. Alright, so on the 4-stroke, they actually made the wiring pretty easy to disconnect right on the left side of the motor. These were plugged in right down here to these. And they just go across the front. And they go right through a hole down there. In through this grommet, around this. And there's a 10 mil that's holding the harness right here. So I'm gonna get all that out, get the harness out ready to go before you go to remove the motor. Here's a new motor. I'm also gonna protect it with some fluid film before I put it on, because I guess you can see to spray on that backside, you're right against the boat. So I'm gonna spray it before I put it in. It's probably gonna make it nasty and sticky to put in, but it'll protect it. On top of the fact, we'll wash it off. And here's the part number for the trim motor. I couldn't find any aftermarket company that made this motor with this specific part number. I don't know if it's interchangeable with any other ones, but just wasn't gonna take the chance. Outboard Performance, you know, Fort Myers actually had the best price on these. They're usually like $360 everywhere you look. They had it for $320, and I was able to go pick it up locally. So you can see we got our wiring harness pulled through. You're gonna have to pull this grommet out of the bottom of the motor. You see the hole there, to be able to get the plugs through, and then you can just pop it back on when you're done. So this motor is ready to be pulled out. We're gonna pull it out, put the new one, and then we'll come back. All right, one issue I'm running into is the motor is not lifting enough to be able to get that screw out in the back. My fingers cannot reach it. So I got my Allen key, I put a piece of tape on it. We'll see if it'll get stuck, and I'll be able to pull out the screw with the tape. And there it is. Trick usually works every time. So let's see if the motor will come out now. And there you see how bad a shape this pump really was in. It just wasn't worth it. I'm gonna have it on a lift, so I'm not gonna have a trailer. I got this trailer rented for the week, so I'm doing it now. And just make sure they're the same. Yep. Alright, we'll get the new one on. Another tip, try to kind of put the pumps in the same orientation. Put the pump shaft to the same place. You can see there, they're both horizontal. And that way it'll slide into the slot a little easier, more or less where it's going to line up. New pump is set in. I started the front bolt because it's the easiest one to get to. And also put anti-seize on threads. That way if you ever have to take it back off, it comes off easy. And on the back one, put a little bit of anti-seize under that washer. That way when you flip it around, it doesn't fall off. So now we're going to get this back one in. I'm going to need both hands. Here we have it all back together. I did have to take it off after I put the bolts in, because I did forget to spray the film on there. So I took it back off, sprayed it. You see it's completely covered in it now, so I should protect it for a little longer. Ran the harness, put the tie down back, ran it through the motor and crossed, connected. Tying back up your bleeder. We'll trim up to get it off the stand. And see, it won't push in. This is supposed to push in or be able to release that. So, but that's pretty much it for the job. Should be between anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to start to finish. It's really not that hard. I do have the lower unit off because I'm doing the impeller also. Did make it a little bit easier because it gives you a little bit more working room. But that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. And like and subscribe to the videos if you found it helpful.